everyone, welcome to Eat Something with Dee. I hope you've been enjoying your Sunday so far. Today's recipe is a kind of breakfasty or tea time snack kind of recipe. It's called Childa. Now it's kind of a little bit hard to pronounce, but basically what it is savory chickpea flour pancakes. And I know that sounds kind of odd and not something you're used to. It's really not something you're gonna see on the menu of an Indian restaurant, but this is a kind of homey snack that we grew up eating, and it's really delicious, really quick and easy to make, and it comes out to be kind of crispier than a regular pancake, and it's really just yum and a different way to kind of get your chickpea flour fix, right? So let's get started right away. I'm gonna show you my ingredients and then we'll get into it. Okay. Let's do this. Come over here. Let me show you my ingredients. Here we go. Perfect. So there's not a lot going on here really. It's just very quick and easy. We've got a cup full of chickpea flour, or what I call gram flour. I've got about a quarter cup of chopped up red onions. Just 2 tablespoons or so of coriander. You guys know how much I love my coriander. And then I've got 1 green chili chopped up. And of course, if you don't like green chilies or you don't like coriander, you can just avoid it. Out here is my salt to taste. You guys know I oversalt everything. Half a teaspoon of turmeric powder is going to go into this. Half a teaspoon of red chili powder is going to go into this. And then we've got our coriander powder here, about a teaspoon and a half or so. And then same goes for our cumin powder, a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half or so. And then I've got 1 teaspoon of my fresh homemade ginger garlic paste. And that's everything that goes into these chickpea flour pancakes. Of course, on the side here, I've got my water because we're going to be making a batter. I've got about half a cup here, but we'll see how the consistency comes together. And I'll show you what you're looking for, and you can adjust your water accordingly. And I've got my butter here, which is going to help me cook along. And that's really all there is to it. So I'm going to start by making the batter. Let me just make some room here for you guys so we can start our batter off right away. Move things off. Here we go. Okay, so right here we've got our little bowl. You know what? Maybe I'm going to move you guys over this way, and so you can see better when I'm mixing up the ingredients. I think you've got a view of it there. Perfect. Okay, so in goes our chickpea flour. And then let's do the rest of our dry spices. So we've got our half a teaspoon of turmeric, half a teaspoon of chili powder, 1 heaping teaspoon, 1 teaspoon and a half of cumin powder, and then teaspoon and a half of coriander powder, right? And then your fresh coriander goes right in there. Your 1 chopped up green chili goes right in there. And then our about a quarter cup or so of chopped up red onions. I think you guys can see fine there. I got you? Yeah, perfect. And then, of course, our ginger garlic paste. And so you've got all of this lovely stuff in your mixing bowl. And, of course, I'm the queen of forgetting salt. Do not forget your salt. About 1 teaspoon or so should be good for this. Got it? Okay. Now, we're going to start pouring our water in, just a little bit at a time, because I try to avoid giving exact measurements for water because you never know. And if I say 1 cup and it becomes a runny mess, then that's going to be a problem. So we just keep adding water till we get it to a consistency that we like. So add a little, mix a little, add a little, mix a little. Nice and simple. Of course, don't be afraid to get in there. You know, you got to get it going. Now, this is not the consistency we're looking for. We want it to be like a pancake batter. In fact, almost a little bit runnier than pancake batter because chickpea flour is very different in terms of taste and texture than regular flour. So you actually want it to be a little bit runnier than regular pancake batter. But we're getting there. We're almost there. Now, you remember we used chickpea flour the last time when we were making pakoras. This is a very similar mix to the pakora batter, the onion ring pakoras that we had made. But we're mixing in the onions and the coriander and everything right into the batter here. There we go. Here, let me give you a break from the batter. Hello. We're going to keep going mixing our batter. But basically, you've got it to this nice kind of, not super runny, but not super thick consistency. We're just going to give it a little splash more of water. And then I can maybe show you exactly what consistency I'm looking for here. Nice. Mix it, mix it, mix it, mix it, mix it, mix it. That's perfect. There you go. So it's got a nice little drop going there. Not too thick, not too watery. That's your chickpea flour pancake batter. And then we really just have to, whoop, something fell. We just really have to put it into our pan and make it a pancake. So let me bring you over to my stove here. I've got a small non-stick pan just heating here. You really should use a non-stick for this because, I mean, if you don't, you're going to get sticky pancakes. So really, a nice non-stick pan already heated. Now, if you've got a good non-stick, you actually don't need to grease this at all yet. You just throw in your batter and it'll nicely spread around. Yep, that's hot enough. Nicely spread around and give you a beautiful pancake. You really don't need any grease for this at all. So take a ladle and just carefully spoon it in, maybe just a little bit more. And then just give it a good spread. Shake it all about. There you go, just like that. Do you like my shaky shaky? I feel like there should be a pancake shaking song, but I haven't made one up yet. You guys can help me do that maybe, make a pancake shaking song. And there you go, you just pour it in. Now it cooks up really, really quick, so I'm gonna bring you a little bit closer here to see what's happening. I'm not sure if you can tell, but basically there's teeny little bubbles that start showing up as the pancakes get heated. And of course you can see in there, we've got our lovely chilies and our onions and the coriander, and it's all coming together really nicely. And I'm taking you closer because I want you to see how the edges of the pancake are already cooking up, and there's tiny little air bubbles coming up out of the pancakes. Very similar basically to regular pancakes that you make, right? You put it in, you just leave it alone, spread it about, leave it alone, let the bubbles come up, and then you flip it. So this is pretty much the exact same concept. It's just that they're savory and you're using a different kind of flour, and you've got all these lovely spices in it, so it gives it a nice little Indian flavor. So already we've got it cooking quite nicely. And like I said, when you have a nice non-stick, there's absolutely no sticking. It just comes up off the edges like this. I'm going to give it a little look-see down there. Okay, it's not quite ready yet. Now, you don't have to worry about a very high flame with this. You can give it a good bit of heat. It's not going to burn. It's just flour, and it takes a little bit of time to get going. So a good high heat is totally fine. Now, the thing with chickpea flour, people tend to find it to be like a really strong flour taste, but if you put enough spices in it and if you cook it right, you're not going to get that raw flour taste. You're just going to get a really flavorful kind of pancake, I guess. And if you're not a big fan of chickpea flour, you could do this with whole wheat flour. I just find that flour is flour, but I like this kind of nutty, earthy taste that chickpea flour has. And it really lends itself well to something like this, especially when you throw in your spices, especially when you throw in a few of your onions and your chilies and stuff like that. It kind of gives you this reminiscent taste of pakoras, but in pancake form. So let's bring you back here. Reminiscent taste. I don't know if that made sense. And now, as you can see, it's cooked through quite a bit. And so I'm just going to flip it over. And like you can see, it just looks like any old pancake. And at this point is when I like to add a little bit of butter to give it some encouragement and also get a little sear on it. So what I do is I take a pat of butter on a butter knife and I just run it along the sides of my pan so that it seeps into the sides of the pancake and gets to the bottom of it too. And then of course I'll probably just dump a pat on top because I am a butter fiend. I loves me butter. There we go. Yeah, and then you can just, there we go. Perfect. Now you've got your butter in there. Now it's sizzling a little bit. And you can get your grease on there. I do this with regular pancakes too. If you're not a big butter fan, you can avoid it. You can put a lot less. Or maybe even you can even use ghee if you like. I'd avoid regular oil because that's just going to taste weird. But just good old butter or ghee will really amp this up a little bit. Give it that little grease, and everybody knows fat tastes delicious. So you definitely want to add this. Just don't do oil. Don't do regular oil. Don't even do olive oil. It's going to taste weird. You want to do butter or ghee. And then give it a flip. See how everything's cooking in there? Beautiful. And now it's really sliding about because I put in a generous amount of butter. And that's really all there is to it. You know, once this is cooked up, that's your pancake. It's as simple as making regular pancakes, but we've just added our Indian flavor to it, and we've added a different kind of flour. And it's going to be a totally different dish. Obviously, you're not putting maple syrup on top of these pancakes. You're going to serve it with like a tomato sauce or even Frank's Red Hot or like a green chutney maybe. I showed you guys how to make green chutney back when we made Indian street sandwiches, Rastika sandwich. I don't know if you guys remember. It was like the second or third episode, I can't remember now. And that's a really yummy thing to serve with this green chutney. It's made of coriander, mint, chilies, ginger, and garlic, and it's really delicious. If you guys don't remember how to make that, check out my previous episodes, or I'll do a separate episode with just a bunch of chutneys and dips if that's what you want. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll definitely work on an episode like that. So coming back to our pancake here, we don't want to let it burn. I might burn I burn things all the time. So that's usually because I'm talking too much. Ah, there we go. Now we got that nice cooked up color on there. Delicious. So good. And I do this kind of turn and press kind of thing because I like to make sure that my edges get cooked. A lot of the times the edges sort of tend to stay raw, and where's the fun in that? You're like eating raw flour. So I do a press and turn, press and turn, press and turn, just so I can make sure my edges are done. And then one more flip. Press and turn, press and turn, press and turn. I need songs for all these. I need a press and turn song. I need a shake, shake, shake song. I feel like somebody has to help me score the background of my cooking show, like, or the background of my life, really. Doesn't everybody need like a background score to their lives? I feel like you do. My hair is like not happy today. All right, okay. Coming back down to the pancakes. Pancake, singular. One more flip. Let's do this. Let's get some color on there. Just going to leave it for 2 seconds while I get ready to plate our pancake. There's really not a lot to this. It's not rocket science. It's not brain surgery. The idea of this is actually just to give you another idea on how to use these fantastic ingredients that you might have at home already, and of course a different way to look at pancakes. So we're really ready to go here. I'm going to bring you guys back over. Here's a plate where I've already made a pancake. Let's put you guys over there. We go. Perfect. I'm just gonna add our fresh one right over top. Beautiful. There we go. And then if you want, you can actually put a titch more butter on, just because, you know, if you're gonna eat it, you might as well have some fun with it. Just a little dollop of butter just melting right on there. Delicious. And like you can see, I am serving it with either green chutney or I've got some ketchup over here. Just a really delicious way to get your chickpea flour fix. Chickpea flour pancakes with onions and chilies and coriander and all these yummy spices. And really, that's all there is to it. That's how you make childa or chickpea flour pancakes. And let me just give you guys one last look and I'll bring you back up so I can talk to you. There we go. Come on. I'm moving, but I'm actually trying to move my tripod into place. So that's all there is to it. Chickpea flour pancakes made the Indian style. Have it with your family, have it with your friends, try it out, see if you like it. Let me know in the comments below if you want to know how to make this fantastic chutney, and I'll do a whole episode on just chutneys and dips. Thank you so much for tuning in and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. See you guys later.